on up here, Sadie. Where are you? Are you behind?
So this is the story of how I got dumped by 4 guys in 1 week. I told you when I finally got to tell a story it was going to be a doozy, and this is a doozy. So, first is the physicist. Then there's the thespian. Then there's the playwright. And of course there's Brendan. So I meet the physicist first. We meet each other through a mutual friend. And I have to say, I'm a late bloomer. I don't want you to think I'm a floozy or anything. I didn't even get my first kiss until I was 18 and in college. Because I was shy, I was a chubby kid, and there was kind of slim pickings in high school anyway. So the physicist, besides he's a double major in creative writing, which should tell you everything that you need to know about him. Yep. This man, this man was trouble. And it was a mistake, and I knew it, but what are you gonna do? It's my first foray into love, and I was in love for the first time, and I said, why not? It was kind of like we were introduced. You know, ever have that feeling when you meet someone for the first time and you kind of feel like you know each other already and he's recognizable to you? Well, that happened, but it was still a mistake. So we have a good 6 months to ourselves where it was semi-blissful, but it turns out he has an on-again, off-again girlfriend, Sasha, who over time becomes a little more on. She becomes inserting herself a little more into events. I'm not the jealous type. I don't really want to care. But over time, I start to become the on-again and off-again girlfriend. But it's at the point where we're not quite ready to call it quits yet. So I'm in a weird situation like that. The thespian and the playwright, I just kind of fall into, and I gotta say they're complete opposites of each other, and they were both great. The playwright was like a morose, brooding artist who would lock himself in his dark dorm room, smoke a whole lot of cigarettes, and try to rewrite The Alchemist. And the thespian was quite the playboy. He had been used by some lover in the past, but bear in mind he was only 18 years old. But he was spending the rest of his life unconsciously trying to get back at the female sex for whatever this other girl had done to him. But, you know, he would smile and have his twinkle in his eye, and at least a dozen other women on campus had broken their hearts over him. So what would happen is the playwright and the thespian didn't really know each other, but they lived across the hall from each other in the same dorm. Right. So I would visit the playwright. We would have dinner, we would talk for hours. Sometimes something would happen, sometimes it would not. And then I would say goodnight, walk across the hall, knock on the thespian's door, and then spend some time with him. Is this bad? I don't know. But I was master of my own domain, right? I'm a manizer. We don't even really have a word for it in this language. This was some kind of weird social experiment to me where I had no hypothesis, no game plan, and no exit strategy, but I was having fun. And then there was Brendan. Brendan was the thespian's best friend. And one of my best friends too. He was a friend only, I gotta say. Until the night that he confronted me with his feelings, which I didn't know about. I didn't know I was playing with this guy, but apparently I was. Where he came to me saying it was too painful to continue to being friends with me. So it was either I have to date him or it's the end of Brendan, which really pissed me off. Don't ever ultimatum a woman like that. Because I liked him better more than any of them. But I didn't have that kind of feeling for him. So how could you just manufacture something like that? So, thank you. So he was, the boy was a teddy bear. He was sweet, he was warm, he would make collages and then send me collages in campus mail. But, so it was over, right? I was 20 years old, in 4 relationships, one of which was polyamorous. And when it fell apart with Brendan, everything else kind of fell. I have to tell you, it didn't end the way you expect it to end. Nobody really found out about each other. And I wasn't really trying that hard. It was easier than you would expect. But I kind of busted myself. I busted myself, and in the course of a week, I'm not even sure what I did, but everything just fell apart. And luckily, I had already set up a program in India where I could write my thesis, so I just fled the country. And it was great because the physicist at some point emailed me. He realized I wasn't on campus. He emailed me and he's like, "Where are you?" And I wrote back this 3-word email, which is the best email I've ever sent out in my life, saying, "I'm in India, period." That was it. I haven't heard back from him since. But I got back to campus after the study abroad program. I found out the physicist and his common wife had shaved their head in solidarity. It's some kind of misguided thing of solidarity. Brendan had transferred, the playwright was nowhere to be found, and the thespian had literally run away to the circus. He now has made up himself in like a character from Clockwork Orange and juggles various things that are on fire. But I gotta say, I'm not drunk. Am I on videotape? if I'm being videotaped, I gotta say, Brendan, if you're out there, I'm sorry. I know no one else gave a damn about me, but you did. And I hope you're happy.